ready for change, I can help. I've been there and I understand. Heather, the wellness and fitness coach. Hello again. Welcome back to my page. If it's your first time here, well, welcome. Again, if you could like, share, subscribe. I like to talk about wellness, about positive things, about how to, handle certain emotions, how to deal with people and their emotions, their reactions. So today, and I'm sending many blessings to you. Today, I'd like to talk about ghosting and abandonment. Never fun. And I'm going to give just a snippet of both sides perspective. From the ghoster and the ghosty, the abandoner, and the bandy. Why do people ghost? So most of the time, ghosting, when you're dating, or when you ghost somebody, when somebody ghosts or abandons a situation or relationship, it could be for several reasons. It could be because they have fear. They get a high off the beginning phase, the honeymoon phase. But when reality sets in, this is mainly for the dating side, when reality sets in, they're like, oh, this is real. Yeah. How did we get here? This person's seeing a future with me? I don't know if I can handle this. They question themselves. They doubt themselves. They doubt the situation. They pretty much sabotage it because of they don't understand what they're feeling. They don't know how to digest it. So they leave it. They just get up and leave. And I'm not saying that's right. Not at all. Other times people do it because all they want was the high. They were never ready to commit. Again, they don't know how. It's foreign to them to have a long-term relationship or so forth. Sometimes people just do it because they lose interest. So I could go on and on about a lot of things. But if you're doing this to people, you're really hurting more people. And you're hurting yourself. You're hurting people because they're probably coming in with great intention to have a real relationship with you. And they don't, I don't. A lot of people don't put in that much time and effort to play games. And they put a lot of trust in you and a lot of trust in the situation. They haven't known you for very long, but they're really trusting it to grow. So that could cause a lot of person to feel a lot of self-doubt, fear. And you don't know if they've had some traumas in their past either of being abandoned. And you may say right now, I don't abandon people. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Well, again, I get it. But you need to communicate. We need, as a whole, the whole universe, need to communicate. Both people do. It's not working. You need to say it. Own up to it. You're an adult, not a child. We shouldn't come up to you and say, what are you feeling? Please explain it to me. You need to be fearless and just do it. If the other party doesn't seem to care much, well, fine. Then you know where you stand. But you need to set that tone that, hey, I'm not feeling this, or this wasn't working out, or I'm not serious about this anymore. Communicate that. So the other party has something to work off of to start the healing process. I'm not saying that you have to go into full detail, but you need to explain that. Because there's a lot of people that live with anxiety and depression, and they're working on themselves, but at the same time, they've met you somewhere down the line. and they're hoping to have a stable, healthy relationship. And then you throw a wrench into the situation by just leaving and not saying anything, or just disappearing for a couple of days, and not saying anything to them at that time beforehand. You just went silent. It really has a impact on an individual. So and just because somebody's done it to you does not give you the right to do it to anybody else or to that person. So let's not do that, and communicate it. If you think it's fun and games, well, I wish you the best, and I hope that you do get the help you need, because it's not games. People don't date to play games. I don't. And if you do date to play games, I hope you meet somebody that has that same mindset, and you communicated that. Now, on the other side, the one that's been abandoned, don't beat yourself up and think it's you. Okay? Most of the time people abandon because they have fears. They have commitment issues. They don't feel confident enough. They feel vulnerable, and they're not familiar with it, and it's scary territory for them. It could be a number of things. Or they didn't respect you. And I hate to say that. I don't want to induce this to where you feel like, oh my God, they didn't respect me. No, I'm telling you this to make you realize you are worth more than this treatment. And not to get angry that it happened, but to know that you are worth love. You are worth the communication. That's why I said to the person that does do these things, you need to communicate. And to the other person, you need to be able to listen. Even if you don't like what you hear and you think you could change things, respect it. Don't try to force the other person or coerce them into thinking that you could change them. People don't change unless they want to change. Unless they're ready. Unless they're willing. They got to do it on their own. Okay? I mean that with my whole heart. Do not think you could change somebody. Because that could lead to something toxic. Anyways, we're all adults and we all make our own decisions. You get up and brush your teeth that day. That was your decision. You get up and not brush your teeth. That's your decision. We don't need to hold each other's hands to make a decision about changing another person or changing them how they feel about you. You need to be supportive enough to listen and communicate. Now, why people... I've been abandoned. I've been ghosted. Why people do that, they don't understand, or they haven't really acknowledged what they're doing at that moment, or what they've done in the past, or what they're about to do impacts the other person, the other party. Hurts the other person. They don't realize it because they're just reacting based off how they feel. And they're like, I gotta run. I gotta get away. I need to get away and just be alone right now because I don't like this. Some of them like, I just don't want to deal with it. Or, this is too much for me. So, the people on the other side that feel abandoned, I'm telling you, do not take this upon yourself as if something's wrong with you. It's not. You came in to be loving and supportive, to create a bond and connection. And you meant that with all your heart. Perfectly fine. That makes you great. Makes you a great individual. Respect the situation when they walk away. If they communicate with you, great. You have something to work off of. I know how it feels. You could go bonkers after a day or two. Believe me, a month, you're in pain. But there has to be a boundary set to where you love yourself enough to say, I do not want to feel this way anymore. I didn't get my closure. And if you didn't get it, fine. Then you know where you stand. Because the other party didn't communicate, fine. Do not get angry. You're going to go through the motions of anger, fine. But don't be resentful, don't be hateful. Digest it, let it go. And realize, it's not me. I came in there full-hearted and I tried. I'm going to let it go. That's the most adult thing you can do. Let me give you a scenario. And this may help. I've been ghosted a couple of times. I've been abandoned. And every time anytime it's happened, I always tell myself, yes, the person didn't communicate. And if I have any ways to communicate to that person, even if they read it or not, I'll send a message saying, hey, I didn't appreciate this. Therefore, I took these actions as this. I wish you well. I have to move on. I have to live my life. If you're not going to communicate with me, if you're not going to, be polite about it. Be respectful. Don't make it long and lengthy to the point where you're boo-hooing and trying to convince them to change otherwise or manipulate the conversation. Just put it down to the point saying, I didn't like it. I'm not going to just sit here and wait. It may, and I took it as this. Therefore, I wish you many blessings, and I'm moving on. It sends a boundary, this foundation of who you are, what you are, and what you're willing to accept in your life. And it's not for you to prove to them anything. I mean, you are proving something to them, like, oh wow, they're okay, whatever. They're not going to put up with my crap. Good. That's not good behavior. And I get it. We're not perfect. But somebody needs to point it out to the other person and make them realize that's not good. Yes, your feelings are valid, but your actions dictate this. Therefore, I'm letting you know, I'm not going to tolerate this. We're both adults. You could have communicated with me. Regardless if you take this serious or not, what I'm telling you right now, that's on you. But I'm leaving with a clear conscience. I always believe leaving with a clear conscience is more important. Not to justify anybody. To put how you feel on the table, put your cards of how you feel on the table and let it be. Walk away. You're not playing games. You're saying, this is how I feel. My necklace. This is how I feel right now. I'm not going to tolerate this. I respect you. I respect myself enough to not deal with it. Or this is what I want. Or this is who I am. Keep it brief and just walk away. You're setting a foundation about who you are. You're creating that person of who you want to be. And then you're allowing yourself to say, I am not going to let this situation dictate my anxiety or my stresses. When is it going to be the best time for you to decide to take control of your life and manage your stresses? When are you going to set boundaries and know how to approach them, communicate them, deal with them as an adult, as a mature adult? And as adults, we live in a time where we don't know how to talk to one another. We act, and I'm not trying to put anybody down. We don't know how to talk about our emotions or what we're feeling because of fear. Fear got you where you're at right now. So what? There is a lot of people that won't take you serious or respect you. That's okay. That's where you're learning where to weed out the crappy people, the toxic people, the whatever. Like, oh, you don't respect me? Somebody else will. Next. You got to take yourself serious enough and fearless enough to communicate what's going on. Not saying that you have to, not telling you or saying that you have to go into great detail and boohoo your whole life story to somebody, but mature enough. Oh my gosh. Especially if you want a healthy relationship. Because those actions of disappearing and coming back, it attracts an unhealthy environment. It might attract somebody that's willing to put up with that. And then they are not healed from traumas, or they're accustomed to those actions. Look at those things. And then both of you are not balanced, evenly yoked. And I'm not, hey, I have my own problems, but I'm addressing them and I'm growing from them. And that's why I come on here. There's a lot of things I've experienced in life I reflect on for a long time. And then I do my research with psychology. And I talk to a lot of friends I have connections with. And I learn. I take a lot of great notes. And then I'm like, voila. I need to share this. Because it helps me. It gives me the confidence I need. Helps me manage my anxieties. My depressions. It helps me it helps me to put boundaries up about what I'm willing to accept in my life and what I'm not, so that I don't repeat things or fall into a situation that can cause my anxiety to rise or my depression. And you're worth it. Both sides. The abandee and the abander. The ghostie and the ghoster. If we could communicate better, we could forgive better. We could get over and get past things better. We could understand what the other person's thinking and give them the space they need, the quality of space, have more quality of life. Don't you want that instead of doing these cycles? 5 years from now, I want to look back and think, I made good decisions. I allowed certain things in my life and I stopped situations that were not healthy for me. And I communicated every time. I do that because of a lot of reasons. To help the other person what's going on from my point of view. And if they want to know more, I invite them to know more. I am one that's very forthcoming and open. If you know me, if you really know me, you would know I am one that's like an open book. People say that I am intimidating because I'm so forward. I take that as a blessing. I take that as a blessing. Because I have nothing to hide. But I come with great intention and great love. And that's all I do. So when I look back years from now, from what I do today, and I don't reflect on the past too much, and just for learning reasons, I want to be proud. It's not going to be perfect. Perfect is just an opinion. But you are an art piece that's continually evolving. And as an artist, I'm an artist, drawing a sketch is never done. But to everybody else, it's perfection. You're done when you say you're done. You could constantly do more to it, add to it. And my art teacher had to stop me and tell me, I understand, an art piece is never done. There's so much you could always do to it. But there is a point when you have to stop. Accept it as is. So I consider people as an art piece. You're so gorgeous, and to me, you're perfect. But because you have the ability to grow and flourish and be something greater. So take this as a note. Let's not abandon the situations. And if there's something wrong, say it. Abandoning a job, let them know I can't do it. I'm sorry. Today's my last day, or I'm putting my 2 weeks notice, or a month from now I'm leaving. Be forthcoming. All right? I send you love. I send you great wishes. And again, I hope you do well. Till then, us out. Keep a watch for my posts. I ran out of words. Have a great day, great evening, great morning. Don't be afraid, okay?